Right now, Joker 2 is getting hate from all sides. Todd Phillips, with that bizarre ending, basically gave everyone the middle finger. So it's no surprise the sequel is tanking at the box office and getting trashed in the media. Everyone's calling it garbage. But here's my hot take. Joker 2, and especially that ending, isn't a screw you to DC fans. It's actually a genius move. If you haven't seen the film yet, heads up. There are spoilers ahead. So watch this video at your own risk. Right now, Joker 2 is losing a ridiculous amount of money in real time. Opening weekend at the domestic box office, it pulled in a sad $40 million. Globally, things are slightly better at $120 million, but it's clear this is another box office flop for DC. Forbes is predicting that when all is said and done, Joker 2 will make around $300 to $350 million worldwide. With a nearly $200 million budget, that's a complete disaster. And seriously, where did that money even go, considering the first Joker had a much more modest budget of $55 million? By the way, Joker 2 is now the single most expensive movie ever made starring the Joker. After its premiere at the Venice Film Festival, the movie sat around for a month, waiting for its theatrical release, and by the time it hit theaters, everyone had already made up their minds. And they hated it. The film got a dismal D on CinemaScore and a pathetic 31% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. For comparison, even Batman Forever, which is considered one of the worst DC movies, has a somewhat better Rotten Tomatoes score at 41%. Sure, it hasn't reached the rock-bottom level of Batman and Robin with its infamous bat nipples and 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, but let's be real, it's not that far off. Especially when the first Joker raked in $1 billion. Joker 2 is getting slammed by everyone. Critics, audiences, YouTube bloggers. Jake Coyle for the AP calls it a theoretically interesting film, but a curiously dull one. Rolling Stone review is titled, "Joker has a message for fans. Go f*** yourselves." The Daily Beast review leads with calling the sequel so bad and so boring it's absolutely shocking. The New York Post bemoans that Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix sing for no reason in pointless sequel. The only exception to this wave of hate is Francis Ford Coppola. Off the back of his own flop, Megalopolis is one of 2024's biggest box office bombs. Coppola publicly backed Todd Phillips and his controversial choice for the film's ending. He even posted on Instagram saying that Phillips is always one step ahead of the audience, never doing what they expect. And honestly, I think that's exactly where all this hate is coming from. Everyone expected one thing from Phillips in the Joker sequel, but he delivered something completely different. Now, people are freaking out over that ending. So, what's the big deal with this controversial ending? By now, I feel like everyone's either seen the film or at least read the spoilers. The ending leaked way before the premiere, so there's been plenty of time for everyone to lose their minds. Without context, it does sound pretty dumb. After 2 movies all about Arthur as the Joker, the sequel's ending kills him off, out of nowhere, no explanation, leaving us with the suggestion that maybe he wasn't the real Joker after all. Some fans were quick to connect this to Nolan's trilogy, saying that Arthur's killer carving a smile into his own face is a nod to Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. Personally, I think the ending of Joker 2 is absolutely brilliant. It's a power move, and it works on 2 levels, within the film's narrative and in the context of Todd Phillips' relationship with the industry itself. For me, this ending fits Todd Phillips' Joker perfectly. He's been messing with our expectations from the start. No one expected the first film to be what it was, no one thought the sequel would be a musical, and now no one saw that twist in the ending coming. Isn't that just awesome? In a world full of formulaic superhero movies where you can practically time the second act, third act, and happy ending with a stopwatch, we still get these kinds of endings. Plot twists that shock us, piss us off, and get the whole damn world talking. And here's the second part that I find especially ironic, considering Phillips' choice. Todd Phillips made his bag and wanted to walk away knowing they wouldn't call him back. We all know how studios love to turn every tiny success into a 10-year franchise with 20 movies. But Todd Phillips didn't want that for his Joker. He did everything to make sure this remained a 2-part story. He had the creative freedom to do it. Warner Brothers gave him that themselves. so they don't get to complain now. In the end, we all, Arthur DC fans, Warner Brothers, got played, and it's freaking epic. Say what you will, but Todd Phillips' Joker duology deserves its place, and it absolutely gets my applause because Phillips has secured his legacy. It's like he's telling us, loud and clear, superhero movies can be anything. Your typical good guys beating up bad guys in tights flick, a Scorsese-like character drama, or even a freaking musical. And that's okay too. The only shame is that Joker 2 will go down as a massive box office flop. It didn't deserve that. And honestly, our expectations, well, that's our problem.